Most of you, your largest enemy on the planet today is yourself. You are the one who is destroying your own prospects because you don't have your own mind under control. And one of the things that's crazy about the world is your mind is one of the few things you can control. You can't control very much else. You can only control your mind. It's the only thing you have control over. So if you don't control it absolutely, you're going through life with no control over anything. You don't control your own mind, which means by extension, you do not control your life, you do not control your woman, you do not control the weather, you do not control the politicians, you don't control nothing. You're just an empty vessel going through life with zero control over anything. You can control, once your mind's in check, your reaction and attitude to things. Everything you want's at the top. So you have two choices. You either go through hell, climbing the mountain to get what you want, or you go through hell not having what you want. This is the only two real options. So when people say to me, oh, but this, but that, I try to explain to them, adversity is the only way to get anything of value. That's why it has value. If everyone could have a six-pack without work, then a six-pack wouldn't mean anything. A six-pack means something because they know you had to work to get it. The adversity is what adds value to it.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people who work harder than others, and it's always going to be competitive, and the people who work harder are always going to win. That's the game. So you're either a hard-working person who gets up and does what they're supposed to do regardless of how they feel and performs, or you're not. It doesn't matter what system or what country, whatever, the hard-working ones are going to rise to the top. And that's why I have a lot of people say to me, oh, I don't have motivation. If you don't have motivation to be anything other than a peon, then you deserve to be a peon, and you will stay a peon. And that's God's mission for you. You are designed to work in Starbucks and serve me my coffee for the rest of your human years. Good. Stay there. Because if working in Starbucks like a jackass does not motivate you to get up and do something, then that's all you deserve. You shouldn't need motivation. Your terrible life is motivation. Most of these people who pretend they haven't got motivation don't deserve anything more than they've got. The people who deserve to win are going to win. I won because I knew I deserved it. And everyone around me, same story. We all come from, you met my dad. He was certainly not a rich man. We all came from fucking zero and we got there because we knew we deserved it. If you're going to sit there and go, I don't have motivation to try, that's no problem. Cut my grass. Fine by me.
If you're going to go, do it. If you're going to do it right. There's no point in half doing anything. You may as well have not done it at all. So this idea you can coast through things, this idea you can lazily try or pretend to try or just showing up counts, I dispute all of that absolutely. You give 100% of your heart, soul, and vigor to anything you do, and it becomes a habit so that it's all you know how to do. Before you know it, you're driving a car trying to do it as well as possible. And you're having a conversation trying to be as clear and compendious and concise as possible. And you're trying to make money as much as possible, as efficiently as possible. And you're trying to educate your children as well as possible. You're trying to protect your family as much as possible. You're trying to get as strong as possible. Because all you know is maximum limits. That's all you've ever done. You've never done any of this, that garbage can go out the window. So you need to get good at getting good at things. And you need to get good at trying 100% at all things, whether you like them or not. And this will give you a base level of competency in all realms, even if you're not in love with said task. If you do try your best, it's very rare you fail. In fact, it's nearly impossible. People say it's okay to lose if you tried your best. The secret to the universe is if you try your best, you hardly ever lose. It takes some freak accident or the will of God to ensure that you don't pull it off if you actually try your best. And on the few scenarios that's happened in my life, I'm happy to take the L because I can say, I couldn't have tried any harder. I done my absolute best. I know I did my best. I can't try any harder. God knows more than me, and he decided that things have to be slightly different right now. That's fine. It's easy to take the L if you try your best. So if you try your best, you never feel the bitter sting of regret. You never feel the dark rankness. You never taste failure. It's never in your mouth. It's never lucid. It's never tangible. Because you approached the scenario with absolute vigor. And truthfully, effort is a muscle, like everything else. The more you exercise it, the better it becomes. So even if you try for 100% for something and fail, you've exercised your effort muscle. which means you haven't failed because you've learned something and become better at giving effort to things. You've become better at being concentrated on a task. So it's nearly impossible to fail in these scenarios. Unless you take action and do things that show the universe you deserve a life beyond somewhere stuck in the middle, simply being extracted from and affording lifestyles for other people who have had either a better upbringing, perhaps had an advantage you did not have, or they started below you and surpassed you. You as a man should be offended by the fact that my brother and I started miles below you and have surpassed you in every single human metric. That should bother you. You should be inspired by us, but you should also sit there and go, why are they beating me? They started below me. They started the race way back there. And I was so lazy and so stupid, and I took life for granted, and I expected everything to be given to me, that these guys have managed to lap me and surpass me based purely on hunger and grit alone. They had no advantages. All they had was this innate desire to do anything it took. So anything I do, I don't want to be bad at. I either don't do it or I try my very best all the time to become extremely good at it. I don't see the point in doing anything and being mediocre or being bad at it. What's the point? If I'm going to speak on podcasts, I want to be good at it. Anything I'm going to do, I want to be good at. Now, you should have enough respect for yourself that you're prepared to always put in the effort to give your best 100% because it is a habit. You should always give your best to anything you do. When you pick up a video game, you should give your best. When you drive a car, you should attempt to drive as efficiently as possible, using the brake as little as possible to not waste fuel, to make sure there's no close calls, no sudden braking. Most of you are just getting in your car and driving like a jackass from point A to point B, not trying to actually go, you know what, let me drive and pretend I have the queen in the back seat and I can't even brake suddenly. And I only have a fraction of fuel. How far can I go if I very smoothly, very calmly anticipate the traffic in advance, move my car in and out of the cars so I barely have to brake, keep moving slowly and smoothly? Let me try and get good at this. You need to fall in love with being happy with yourself for how hard you've dedicated yourself to a task. That needs to be more satisfying to you than relaxing. Relaxing is probably the most boring thing you can possibly say for me to do. Say, Andrew, do you want to go relax? And say, what do I do? Stare at a wall? That sounds terrible. Nothing is worse than relaxing. I don't want to relax. I want to work. That's all I want to do is work. Because if I work and I achieve things, I feel good inside. I got something done. I feel good. I feel happy. If I just relax, nothing's been achieved, so I don't see the point of it. It doesn't even relax me. In fact, it makes me very anxious. Your future is the result of your daily actions. You're defined by what you do today. Lazy now, loser later. Get to work. The life you want is easy. All you have to do is fall in love with the work. If you fall in love with the work, fall in love with being good at doing your work, getting it done, never missing a day. Because the easiest way to make sure you never miss a lucky day is to try every single day. Lucky days exist. And you're never going to know if you have a lucky day or not unless you try every single day. Then you're never going to miss any lucky days. And you're going to pull it off. And you're going to realize it wasn't actually that difficult. All it took was consistency and constant effort. Never being lazy and doing everything I'm supposed to do properly. It's almost impressive how difficult it is to make the average person move. The average person is a statue getting shit on by the pigeons. And they'd rather just sit there covered in shit than move. It's very hard to inspire people to take initiative to save themselves. It's incredible. From my position, I can extrapolate out my massive influence. And I can say, well, in my position, surely when I say do something, millions of people should do it. And they do. That's why I'm so monumentally influential. But there's also millions of people who don't. Why? When they know that it's going to work. Some people are just born to lose. These are people who are betrayed by their own mind and can't be influenced even from the external because their own mind betrays them. There's a devil on their shoulder constantly holding them back. Think of what you want. Look at how difficult it is to get. Be happy that it's difficult, because that's the only reason you fucking want it. If it was easy, you wouldn't even want it.
Yeah.
And get to work or don't. Those are the two choices. Get to work or don't.
Yes.
But if you choose don't come on Twitter with an anon account and attack you and me and go, oh, you're a loser, it's easy for you. Because you had your choice too. You're an able-bodied person. You can get up and learn to fight. You might be better than me. How the fuck do you know? Train the same hours I trained, you might be even better. But you don't know because you never fucking bothered. So it's it's you either do it or you don't. And karmic retributions are real. In the end, God gives you exactly what you deserve. So if you're not happy with your life, you have to ask yourself, do you really deserve more? Have you really tried 100% of the time? Did you ignore that headache? Are you as competent as you could possibly be? Have you given 100% every time you've done anything? No. You deserve what you have. You deserve your mediocrity because you're an average person. You want a Lambo and these women and a boat and whatever else you want because you see it on Instagram, but wanting something and deserving something are very different things. If you truly deserved it, you'd be working for it in a way that ensures it would be given to you by the universe. Every single thing I've ever wanted, I have got. Maybe not instantly, maybe not easily. In fact, certainly not both. It was always difficult and it always took time, but I really wanted them, so I always got them. And I put in enough work to show God and show the universe I deserve them, so he gave them to me. If smoking weed kills your fire, don't smoke weed. If drinking booze kills your fire, don't drink booze. Everything you need to do, if drinking booze gives you fire, then fucking drink it. I don't care. But you need to sit down and look at your life and say, what's going to make me as motivated as possible? Is it developing an imagination to imagine my dream life? I'm sure it is. Is it having a social circle of people who are always trying to elevate? I'm sure it is. Is it having a girlfriend who supports me in all of my dreams? I'm sure it is. You need to then sit there, look at every facet of your life, analyze it one by one, and develop a lifestyle which is going to give you endless fire, because without it, you are going to lose.
I trained so hard because I was scared of losing. I was scared of meeting my opponent on X day at X time and getting my ass kicked and looking like an idiot and possibly dying and getting brain damage. I was afraid, and I used that fear to train as hard as possible. And you can apply that to life as a whole. You need to use the fear of being mediocre and use it to make you try as hard as possible. The reason with most mediocre people is they don't have a fear of being mediocre. They've listened to the Matrix programming and they've been convinced that being mediocre is absolutely fine. It's fine to not be that successful. You know what? All our graves are the same size. Doesn't matter what you achieve in your life. Doop-de-doo, dumpty-dum. This is the slave mine. And I refuse to accept it. I do not accept that. I accept I'm an exceptional individual and I deserve an exceptional experience of the human consciousness. And that's what I'm going to fucking have. And it doesn't matter if I have to do it myself, that's fine, because no one else is going to do it for me. So yeah, there has to be a healthy fear. If you're genuinely scared and genuinely uncomfortable in a certain situation, you're going to move. If you fall asleep on your arm and it gets uncomfortable, you'll wake your ass up and move your arm. But if you're comfortable, you're not going to. So when I see somebody who's sitting in a rut, and they've been in a rut for a long time, they're obvious, maybe, a couple times a week they're pissed off with the rut, when they got a bill they can't pay or whatever, and they'll message you going, I really need to get out, I've got to change my life, bro. But the second things aren't that bad, they're back to playing video games. So you're only uncomfortable 2 days a week. For 5 days a week, you're fine being a fucking loser. And that's why you're still a loser.
You feel it, don't you? That creeping anxiety, that unbearable nagging voice in your head that whispers, you're wasting your life. You ignore it, you numb it with distractions, but deep down, you know the truth. You are running out of time. The years are slipping through your fingers, and with every second you hesitate, another man, one who started with nothing just like you, is out there, taking everything that should have been yours. And when you finally wake up, when you finally decide to take this seriously, it will be too late. You've been lying to yourself for years, telling yourself you're working on it, that one day you'll get serious, that eventually you'll have the life you deserve. Enough. You don't deserve anything. The world does not care about your dreams. It does not care about your potential. It does not care about the excuses you whisper to yourself in the dark. It only cares about one thing: results. And right now you have none. Every morning you wake up to the same life you despise. You drag yourself out of bed, already defeated, already exhausted, not from effort, but from the crushing weight of knowing you're wasting your existence. You scroll through your phone, consuming garbage, watching men who have already conquered while you sit in silence, rotting in the background. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow comes and you're still the same weak, invisible, powerless man. And do you know why? Because you have let weakness become your identity. You have let comfort sedate you. You have let mediocrity wrap its chains around your neck while you smile and pretend you're just taking your time, You are being erased from history before you're even dead. And while you sit there, another man, one who isn't stronger than you, one who isn't smarter than you, but one who simply refuses to be weak, is building an empire. He is grinding in silence. While you sleep, he's training. While you make excuses, he's executing. And in a few years, you will see him driving the car you always wanted, living in the house you used to dream about, standing next to the women who wouldn't even look at you. And in that moment, when you see him standing where you should have been, the regret will be unbearable and it will be too late. Because while you were waiting for motivation, while you were distracting yourself with mindless entertainment, he was moving without permission, without validation, without making a single sound. He grinded in silence, and now he owns everything that should have been yours. So I ask you, are you ready to change? Or are you going to keep waiting, keep hoping, keep watching other men win while you fade into nothing? Decide right now, before another second is wasted. I was once exactly where you are, weak, broke, forgotten. I walked through life like a ghost, unseen, unheard, unimportant. I had no power, no influence, no respect. People looked through me like I wasn't even there, and it made me sick. But I refused to stay that way. I trained until my body ached. I studied until my brain burned. I worked until I collapsed, only to wake up and do it again. And I did it all without a single word. While the weak begged for encouragement, I embraced the suffering alone. While others bragged about their half-measured efforts, I moved in complete silence. And now they have no choice but to notice me. But most of you will never experience that transformation. You will never know what it's like to walk into a room and command respect without speaking. You will never know what it feels like to see the same people who once ignored you now fear your presence. Because you are too soft, too addicted to comfort, too busy pretending you're working on it while you waste your years on distractions. Do you even understand how pathetic that is? You sit there watching interviews of successful men, convincing yourself that learning is enough. It's not. You consume motivation like it's an addiction, but you never act. You pretend you're getting ready, but deep down, you know the truth. You are afraid of the work. You fear the grind. You fear the silence. You fear the loneliness of true discipline. And that fear is the reason you will never have power, because power is taken, not given, and it is taken in silence. The world doesn't reward those who talk about success. It rewards those who show up every day and execute without hesitation. It rewards those who grind so relentlessly, so brutally, that by the time people realize what's happening, it's already too late to stop them. Will you be one of them? Or will you stay exactly where you are, forgotten, invisible, weak? You are running out of time. You don't feel it yet, but you will. The years are slipping away. The seconds you waste now will haunt you forever. One day you will wake up, stare at yourself in the mirror and be disgusted. You will see the body you never built, the money you never earned, the strength you never developed, and by then it will be too late. This is not some motivational speech to make you feel good. This is a warning. Look at your life. Really look. What have you done? What have you built? Where is the proof of your effort? Because if you don't have an answer, then you are failing. And failure is not something that happens overnight. It's a slow, silent death. Every time you hit snooze, every time you delay action, every time you tell yourself tomorrow instead of now, you are digging your own grave. And while you are rotting in comfort, another man is out there taking everything that should have been yours. Right now, there is a man who wakes up at 4 a.m. without hesitation. A man who pushes himself past exhaustion, past pain, past every excuse you've ever made. A man who doesn't post about his efforts, who doesn't seek applause, who doesn't need validation, because he understands that results are the only proof that matters. And soon you will see him. You will see him drive past you in the car you always wanted. You will see him walk into a room commanding respect without saying a word. You will see him living in the house that could have been yours, standing beside the woman who wouldn't even look at you. And in that moment, when you realize that he was never more talented than you, never smarter than you, never luckier than you, just more relentless than you, the regret will be unbearable. And the worst part, you will know deep down that you let it happen. You had the time. You had the opportunity. You had everything you needed to win, but you chose to waste it. This is your last warning. Either wake up now, shut up and move, or stay weak, stay forgotten, and watch as another man lives the life that should have been yours. The choice is yours. But remember, time does not care. It will move forward with or without you. You are already behind. From the moment you wake up, you are already losing. Because while you are still debating whether to get up, whether to start, whether to try, another man has already won the day before it even started. And when you meet him, he will destroy you. Because life is not fair. It does not reward those who mean well. It does not care about your excuses. It only rewards those who show up, execute, and dominate. Right now, while you waste time, another man is becoming stronger, sharper, richer, more powerful. And when you finally decide to get serious, you will realize he is already too far ahead. He has already built the network, the wealth, the discipline, the mindset that you kept delaying. And you will be left behind, scrambling to catch up, but it will be too late. Because while you were busy looking for motivation, he was building his empire in silence. This is how winners move. They do not announce their goals. They do not seek validation. They do not ask for permission. They grind in silence, stacking wins, accumulating power until they are so untouchable that the world has no choice but to respect them. And that is what you must do. From this moment forward, you cut out every weak habit. No more mindless scrolling. No more one last episode. No more wasting time with people who add nothing to your life. You move with purpose. You grind without noise. You wake up before the sun. You build without distraction. You suffer without complaint. Because every sacrifice you make brings you closer to domination. And when the world finally sees what you have become, it will be too late for them to stop you. The question is, will you be the one who dominates or the one left behind, watching another man take what should have been yours? Decide now, before another man makes the decision for you. Look at yourself. Are you proud, or do you see a man who has wasted his potential? Because here is the brutal reality. If you are not moving forward, you are dying. Every second you hesitate, every excuse you make, every time you allow weakness to dictate your actions, you are falling further behind. The world does not wait for the weak. It erases them. And right now, you are on the verge of being erased because the men who rise to the top, the ones who own the cars, the houses, the businesses, the respect, the influence, they are not special, they are not superhuman, they simply refuse to be weak. They sacrifice comfort. They grinded in silence. They moved with discipline so ruthless that by the time the world realized what was happening, they were already too powerful to stop. And now they walk into any room and own it. But you blend into the background, unnoticed, unimportant, forgotten. And the worst part, it's your fault because you had the time. You had the ability. You had everything you needed to win, but you were too soft, too afraid, too busy watching life instead of taking control of it. This is your last chance. You either burn your old identity to the ground and rebuild yourself into a machine, or you stay exactly where you are, weak, invisible, and powerless. No more waiting, no more distractions, no more weakness. You move in silence. You grind when no one is watching. You build your empire while the world sleeps. Because when you finally step into the light, they will not recognize you. And by then, it will be too late for them to stop you. So what's it going to be? Will you be another nobody, forgotten in the sea of weak men? Or will you grind in silence until the world has no choice but to acknowledge your greatness? Decide, because time is running out. Look at your life. No more delusions, no more lies, no more pretending. Look at it. Are you where you want to be? Are you powerful? Are you wealthy? Do you walk into a room and command respect without saying a word? Or do people look right through you, just another average, forgettable man? Because if you are not winning, you are losing. There's no neutral ground, no in between. The world is at war, and every second you hesitate, another man is taking what should have been yours. Every time you delay, another man moves ahead of you. Every excuse you make, every moment you waste, every bit of weakness you tolerate within yourself, it all adds up. And when the day comes that you finally decide to take action, you will look around and realize you were too late. The empire you could have built, it belongs to someone else. The wealth you could have had, already in another man's bank account. The power, the respect, the influence, the life you always wanted, gone. Because while you were waiting for the right moment, someone else was grinding in silence. And now he owns everything that should have been yours. You have been lied to your whole life. They told you to take it slow. They told you to enjoy the journey. They told you money isn't everything. And you believed them because it was easy, because it made you feel good, because it gave you permission to be weak. But look where that weakness has left you. Look at your bank account. Look at your body. Look at the life you have accepted for yourself. Are you proud? Or are you sick to your stomach, knowing that you could have been so much more? Do you think the men who rule this world took it slow? Do you think the billionaires, the warriors, the leaders, the kings of industry wasted time finding themselves while others were working? No. They took action. They sacrificed. They bled for their success. They were willing to suffer for what they wanted. And now, They walk through life untouchable. And you are invisible, a shadow, a ghost, a spectator in a world controlled by men who refuse to be weak. You think you have time, you don't. Every second you hesitate is a second you will never get back. Every wasted moment is another nail in the coffin of your potential, but you don't feel it, not yet. Right now, you're still convinced that one day you'll change, that eventually you'll start grinding, that tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow is the biggest lie you have ever believed, because tomorrow never comes. It turns into next week, then next month, then next year, until one day you wake up old, weak, broken, and full of regret. And that regret, it will crush you, because by then, the world has moved on. No one will care about what you could have been. No one will care about your lost potential. You will sit there staring at the walls of a life you despise, knowing that you did this to yourself. And the worst part, you will not be able to go back and fix it. You will scream at the universe for a second chance. You will beg for more time, but it will not come. And you will die with the knowledge that you could have been powerful. You could have been a king. You could have had everything, but you were too weak to take it. And if that doesn't terrify you, then you deserve to lose. Because right now, there is still time. Right now, you still have a chance to turn it all around, but the window is closing, fast. This is your final moment of clarity. The last time you will see the truth before you let the comfort and distractions of the world drown it out again. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep waiting? Keep hesitating? Keep pretending you'll start tomorrow? Or are you gonna stand the fuck up, shut the fuck up, and execute like your life depends on it? Because it does. From this moment forward, you move like a warrior. No more talking, no more excuses, no more waiting. You grind in silence. You suffer in silence. You work while others sleep, build while others waste time, and push through pain while others cry about how hard it is. You become ruthless with your time, your discipline, your ambition. You cut out everything that makes you weak. No more scrolling, no more distractions, no more wasting time with people who add nothing to your life. You wake up before the world. You build in the dark. You push yourself so far that by the time the world sees what you've become, they will not recognize you. And by then, it will be too late for them to stop you. So I ask you one last time, what the fuck are you gonna do? Are you going to be another nameless nobody? Another weak man who talked about success but never earned it? Or are you going to grind so fucking hard in silence that one day the entire world has no choice but to acknowledge your greatness? Decide, because time is running out. The only shortcut to life is to never miss a day, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. Because when you've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, and you've done it all off of your own back, and hard work and dedication, and never missing a day, one, because of compounding interest, and two, if you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day, and you never don't try, and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time, and you try and improve every aspect of your life, and you're a professional, and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Now you're lying to me, and that annoys me. I believe that they have the lives they deserve because they haven't been prepared to suffer like I've suffered. If I was as lazy and incompetent as these people, I'd be like them. These people, they're not triers. I didn't even have chances that good. I wish I did. I wish I had a billionaire sitting on the internet explaining to me how the world worked. I would have done anything for that. But I've never had that chance. I had to work them all out myself, take huge monumental risks, do the nearly impossible to escape. It's easier to get rich now than it's ever been. This goes back into my mentality about the kind of person who takes risks and takes action. So then people will say to me, this is what's so amazing. People say to me, oh, how do you have all these Bugattis? How do you have $100 million of cars? You're so lucky. It's not luck. It's never been luck. I've been the person who took action. And if I were to tell you right now what action to take, you won't do it. So I'm not going to feel sorry for you when you fail. I'm not going to feel sorry for failure, for losers.
My life is just work. But that's boring, right? But that's the truth about it. I'm on my laptop all day, every day. I have 18 hours a day of screen time. I'm either training or I'm working. Do I know some women? Yes, of course. Do I have some fancy cars to drive? Yes. Can I go to the odd restaurant? Yes. But the majority of the time, all I do is work because that's what I enjoy to do. I don't think most things outside of work are as entertaining as the work itself. That's why I'm successful. Yeah, I do have women who I know, and yeah, I can have that crazy lifestyle, and I did it for a while. But I wouldn't even say it's empty. You know, people get successful and they start to say, oh, I'm above that. It's empty. It's empty. It's vaporous. That's true. I just don't think it's as fun as working. I think just winning is fun. I think the whole point of life as a man is competition in the first place. Life is rented. I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm saying my philosophy is that you never own anything that you're not renting anyway. Your physical health is not something you have. It's something you rent. If you don't look after it, you lose it. Just like a house, if you don't pay the rent, you lose the house. It's the same with your business. If you don't look after your business, you lose the business, you lose your money. It's the same with women. If you don't look after the women, you lose the women. So do you have to sit there and attribute value to each thing and work out, is this worth the extra seconds in the day to maintain it? And if I'm going to do anything, you're going to optimize it, right? Isn't that life? You go to the fight gym and you spar and you lose and you get better. You attempt to optimize it. You try and make some money. You attempt to optimize it. You attempt to grow the number of followers you have on your YouTube channel. When you go out dating women, you attempt to optimize it to get better at it. If I'm going to speak to people, I'm going to optimize it to be maximally effective. I want to be the person who can say less words than everybody else and have a larger impact. That's what I want to do. I've chosen that. I've decided to do that. I understand that to be able to do that, I also need to have a certain persona and a certain capability. It's hard to do that if I'm not financially successful. It's hard to do that if I'm physically weak. If I walk into a room and I want to bellow and I want to sit and talk in a particular manner, but I'm physically weak and broke, nobody gives a shit. But I have real world accolades. Also, a lot of my real world accolades are based on the fact that I've suffered and I'm prepared to go through difficult scenarios for the things I've said, which once again adds credence to my words.
Does happiness exist to you?
I don't think it's important. I am already happy and I'm happy all the time, even when bad things happen. I'm always a happy person. I don't operate in the happy, sad paradigm. So to me, I'm always happy because I don't measure it. If you don't measure something, it doesn't exist. If you give attention to depression, you're depressed. If you give attention to how happy you are, you're always going to be measuring if you're happy or not that day. If you don't think about those things, they don't exist. I don't give measurement to them. Is that the heartbreak part is the best part.
Yeah.
That's the real love. The whole holding hands, everything's happy, we're out at dinner, smiling, laughing. No, that's boring. The true memory of love, the actual real fun part of the love is the part where you feel the deepest, and you feel the deepest when it goes wrong. And we can apply that to everything. That's the funnest part of life. Funnest part of life. It's never fun at the time, but in retrospect, when you want to use hindsight and analyze your entire life via the lens of your mind, when you go back in time, those bad times are the best times. Because I believe as a man, chasing happiness is probably the most asinine thing you can do. It's the easiest way to lose as a man is to chase happiness. What will make me happy is not how you win as a man. How you win as a man is, I don't care how I feel, what must be done. And really the only thing that's fun in life is work. The only thing that's fun is the thing that made you rich in the first place. That's the reason it made you rich, because you found it fun. There are no fun activities to do once you're rich. The only thing you can really do is slow things down. So a poor person has a 1 hour lunch. I'm allowed a 4 hour lunch. Great. You can add some time to things. But I don't know. I see there are some other rich people who, they get enamored by wine and they think that giving their life to tasting different grapes is somehow not a complete waste of consciousness. But they're dipshits. And that's why they're not important. And that's why no one knows who the f they are. So when I talk to other millionaires, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to wine. I like to spend my time wine. Well, then you go do that. Life is it's a game. We're living in a simulation. And if you want a high score, you have to choose the highest difficulty. So I want a high score. A lot of these people, especially people who talk about Zen, Stoicism, etc., I distrust. And this isn't specifically about him. This is about all of these people. Because they'll sit in a beautiful field with green grass in Bali. And they'll put on a stupid robe. And they'll sit there and they'll do this. And they'll say, I'm Zen. My mind is great. You're in a beautiful field in Bali. Of course you're Zen. What are you going to be upset about? It's sunny. It's not even raining. You have nothing to complain about. Go and be Zen in a trench in Ukraine. Then show me your Zen. If you're so Zen and you're so fantastic with your mind, any of these people, I openly challenge you, considering you're all physically incapable, go do an MMA fight and get the shit kicked out of you. Go on, you know you're going to lose because you're a pussy. I know you're going to lose. You know you're going to lose. He's going to hurt you, but you're Zen. Show me the power of your mind. Go get your ass whooped. Oh no, you're scared. You won't do that. You won't go get in the cage and get grounded and pounded. I thought you were Zen. Turns out you're only Zen when everything's fine. That's not Zen. It's not Zen to be Zen when everything's fine. So all these people with their spoiled little privileged lives and their yoga retreats. Oh, I feel so great in my yoga retreat. Oh, you feel so great in one of the most idyllic locations on the planet, eating food that's prepared for you. You feel great. wow, mental control. Who the fuck is clown show? It's a clown show. If these people were truly who they wanted to pretend they are, they'd be in the trenches somewhere. The UFC fighter has more zen when he's getting punched in the face in front of all these people, in front of his screaming wife, worried about him losing consciousness forever. When he's taking shots to the face and still avoiding them and keeping a clear enough mind to slip the punches. So all these people are full of because if they were truly zen, they'd live a life similar to mine. But they don't. I ain't lonely. I've never been lonely. I've never been lonely. You don't know me. I've never been lonely. I had no money and I was never lonely. And I don't think it's possible for anybody to stay in a scenario where they're truly uncomfortable. If you fall asleep on your arm and your arm really starts to hurt, even in the deepest sleep, you're gonna wake up and lose your arm. If you sit there and your life has been in a rut for 7 years, you are semi-comfortable in that rut. Sure, there's days you're pissed off. Sure, you're semi-annoyed by it, but there's also days where you just play video games, eat pizza, and you're kind of cool with it and it's no big deal. If you were truly unhappy and uncomfortable and discontent with your scenario, you wouldn't be in it. When I was broke, I couldn't sleep. Please understand me. When I was broke, I couldn't sleep. I'd be trying to go to bed thinking, these people have Ferraris. I want a Ferrari. I couldn't sleep. I just understood that there was a version of reality that I had yet to experience. I saw my parents struggle to pay the bills, and I saw my friends struggle to pay the bills, and I saw everyone around me unable to eat, and then I saw certain people with $500,000 cars, and I understood there must be a different version of reality. There must be a version of making money, a version of banking, of finance. There has to be a different world. This world I'm in, everyone's poor, this is garbage. That world, I can see people are living a reality that I can't even fathom. I'm under the mentality that you are exactly not where you deserve to be. That is one version of reality. That's one version of events. And although that's true, I want to put it in a different way. You're exactly where you wish to be in life. Even if you think you are not happy where you are, I can promise you are. Because if you're truly uncomfortable, you can't even sleep. If I put you on spikes, you can't lay down. You only lay down even if you're semi-comfortable. What I often hear from people and see from people is that they get very motivated for short periods of time. They'll be very motivated to change their life for 3 hours, and then they'll just go back to playing video games, and they're actually not unhappy with their life. They're fine to play video games and eat beans on toast and sit around in a small little apartment. They only become unhappy for a few hours now and again. That's when they talk about how motivated they are. That's when they talk about how hard they want to try. But in general, they're actually perfectly fine with their life, meaning they wish to be there. If they wished to be anywhere else, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. And by extension, they would be exactly where they wish to be. I want you to understand at home, whether you're successful or unsuccessful, you wish to be where you are. If you wished to be big, you'd be big. You would train all day, every day. There is no such thing as wanting to be big and wishing to be big truthfully and not being big. If you say to a man, do you want to be bigger? They'll all say yes. But do they really wish for it? Oh, you'll take it for free. Well, you'll take anything for free. You'll take a Toyota Corolla for free. You won't buy one. Taking something for free is very different than going out there and earning it and paying for it. They're very different things. So you're as big as you wish to be, you're as rich as you wish to be, you live where you wish to live. Because truthfully, when you wish for something with all of your heart, never in history has the universe or God failed to give it to you. Anything you've ever truly wished for in your entire life, you have gotten 100% of the time. So then the logical extension of this mindset is you have to analyze and decide, one, why you wish to be where you currently are. Why? And two, if you want to change that, where you actually genuinely wish to be, because you have to make sure you really want it. Everyone will say they want to have $100 million. Everyone will say it, but it's not true. And if you don't wish for it, you're never going to get it. And in fact, you won't even elevate from your current position unless you're more realistic with your wishes. Say, I don't want 100 million. I just want 1 million. That's my advice. Listen to me. If you want to win at life, if you want to dominate, to succeed, to be the man who walks into a room and commands respect without even speaking, you need to understand something very simple. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your most dangerous enemy. It's either the engine that drives you forward at full speed or the anchor that drags you down into the depths of mediocrity. And let me tell you something most people don't want to admit. If your life sucks, if you're broke, if you're weak, if you're lost, it is your fault. I don't care what excuses you have. Your parents were poor, so what? You didn't have the right education, who cares? The world didn't give you a fair shot, boo-hoo. The truth is, you are where you are because of how you think. And the day you realize that is the day you take back control. The weak-minded blame the world, the strong-minded take responsibility. And the moment you stop being a victim is the moment you start being a winner. You have a choice every single second of every single day to program your mind for strength, success, and domination, or to allow it to rot in negativity and weakness. And let me tell you something. Most people choose weakness because it's easy. It's easy to complain. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to stay in bed all day feeling sorry for yourself. But do you know what's not easy? Winning. And that's why most people never do. If you want to master your mind, you need to understand one thing. Discipline is everything. People talk about motivation. Motivation is a joke. Motivation is a fleeting feeling that comes and goes like the wind. But discipline is the foundation of kings. When you master discipline, you don't need motivation. You just do what needs to be done no matter how you feel. You wake up, you grind, you push, you conquer, because that's who you are. Let me tell you something. Life is war. Every single day is a battle. And the enemy? It's not your boss. It's not society. It's not your parents or your haters. The enemy is you. That weak version of you that wants to quit, that wants to complain, that wants to stay comfortable and avoid the struggle. And if you let that version of you win, you will never be successful. You will never reach the top because the world belongs to the strong. Look at history. Look at the men who built empires. The warriors, the conquerors, the leaders. Do you think they spent their time scrolling social media, whining about life, waiting for someone to come save them? No. They sharpened their minds like a blade. They trained their bodies like weapons. They dominated because they were disciplined. And that's what you need to do. Train your mind like a warrior trains for battle. Cut out the weakness. Eliminate distractions. Stop feeding your brain garbage. Stop watching mindless nonsense. Stop wasting time on people who do nothing but bring you down. Your mind is a fortress. Guard it with your life. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't care if you feel tired. I don't care if you're sad. You know what I do when I don't feel like working? I work anyway. You know what I do when life punches me in the face? I get back up and hit harder because I refuse to lose. I refuse to let weakness win. Most of you live like you have infinite time. Let me tell you the truth. You don't. Every second you waste, every moment you spend in self-pity is time you will never get back. And one day you will wake up old, weak, full of regret, realizing that you wasted your entire life waiting for the right moment. Guess what? The right moment is now. Your mind will try to trick you. It will tell you to take it easy. It will tell you that you can start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Either you take control of your life right now, or you stay exactly where you are, stuck, weak, broken. You want to be a king? Start thinking like one. Start acting like one. Start living like one. You must become the man who deserves success before success ever finds you. There is no magic pill, no shortcut, no easy way. There is only discipline, hard work, and an unbreakable mindset. Let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to wait? How many more days, weeks, months are you going to waste before you finally wake up and realize that no one is coming to save you? There is no superhero. There is no miracle. There is no lucky break that's going to change your life overnight. The only way you win is if you decide to win. If you make the choice to be relentless, disciplined, and unstoppable. And let me be very clear. This is not about luck. This is not about talent. This is about being the kind of man who refuses to lose. You can take a weak, lazy man, hand him every opportunity in the world, and he will still find a way to fail. Why? Because his mind is weak. Because he doesn't believe in himself. Because he doesn't have the discipline to do what is necessary. On the other hand, take a man with the right mindset, someone who has sharpened his mind into a weapon, and put him in the worst conditions possible. Strip him of everything. Throw him into the fire. And guess what? He will rise. He will win. He will dominate. Not because of his circumstances, but because he refuses to be broken by them. You think life is hard? Good. It's supposed to be hard. Life is a test, and most of you are failing because you keep looking for an easy way out. There is no easy way. There is no shortcut. Every single thing you want, success, power, money, respect, must be earned. And that process, it's painful. It's brutal, but that's the price of greatness. I get messages all the time from men crying about how unfair life is. Tate, I'm struggling. Tate, I don't know what to do. Tate, how do I fix my life? You know what my answer is? Work harder. Simple. Stop overcomplicating it. If you're broke, make more money. If you're weak, train harder. If you're lost, get focused. Every problem has the same solution: discipline. I want you to understand something very important. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares how hard your life is. Nobody is going to feel sorry for you. The world only respects results. And if you don't have results, then you are irrelevant. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are, how much potential you have. If you're not putting in the work, you are nothing. Some of you are stuck in the same place you were 5 years ago. Same job, same paycheck, same problems. Why? Because you refuse to take control. Because every time things get tough, you fold. You make excuses, you procrastinate, and then you wonder why nothing changes. Let me tell you something. Success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Winners act regardless of their emotions. It doesn't matter if they're tired. It doesn't matter if they're stressed. It doesn't matter if life is throwing obstacles in their way. They show up. They put in the work. They get it done. You have no idea how powerful your mind is. You have no idea what you're truly capable of because you've never pushed yourself to the limit. You've never gone all in. You've never put yourself in a situation where success was the only option. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're still average, because you have never demanded greatness from yourself. But I'm telling you now, it's time to change that. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more wishing. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another podcast, another self-help book, another pep talk. You need to make a decision right now. A decision to stop being weak. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to master your mind, master your discipline, and take full control of your destiny. Because let me tell you something. Once you master your mind, you become unstoppable. Once you silence the doubt, the fear, the weakness, and replace it with unshakable confidence and discipline, nothing can break you. No setback, no failure, no challenge. You will keep moving forward. You will find solutions. You will outlast every obstacle in your way. The world belongs to the strong, to the disciplined, to the ones who refuse to be broken. The question is, are you one of them? Because if you're not, then you will stay exactly where you are, stuck, weak, forgotten. And one day, when it's too late, you will look back on your life with nothing but regret, knowing that you could have been great, but you were too weak to make it happen. I refuse to live that way. And if you have even a shred of self-respect, you will refuse it too. Now get up. You're still here? Good. That means you're starting to understand. That means deep down, you know the truth. You know that everything I'm saying is real. You know that you've been lying to yourself, wasting time, playing small, making excuses, waiting for something to change instead of being the thing that changes. Let me tell you something. Most people will never get this. They will never break free. They will wake up every day, live the same weak, unfulfilled, pathetic life, and then die without ever realizing they had the power to change it. And you know why? Because they are slaves to their own mind. The average man is a prisoner of his own laziness, a prisoner of his fear, a prisoner of his excuses. He lets his emotions dictate his actions. He lets distractions control his focus. He lets society tell him what he's allowed to do, what he's allowed to think, what he's allowed to believe. And then he wonders why he's miserable. I have one question for you. Are you that man? Are you a slave to your own weakness, or are you the kind of man who refuses to be controlled, who refuses to be ordinary? Because let me tell you something. If you don't take full control over your mind, someone else will. And if you think I'm lying, look around you. The world is full of men who have been brainwashed into thinking that mediocrity is acceptable, that being soft is normal, that failure is just a part of life. No, failure is a choice. And if you keep choosing it, you will keep losing. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Your emotions are irrelevant. Winners don't care if they're tired. They don't care if they don't feel like working. They don't care if things are hard. They do it anyway. That is why they win. Weak men let their feelings control them. I don't feel like working out today. I don't feel like learning a new skill. I don't feel like grinding. Good. That's why you're a loser. That's why you're broke. That's why your life is a joke. Because instead of acting like a man, you act like a child who needs everything to be easy, who needs life to be comfortable. But guess what? Life is not comfortable. Life is war. And if you don't learn how to fight, if you don't learn how to push through pain, if you don't learn how to control your own mind, you will be crushed. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how smart you are. If you don't have mental toughness, you will never last. Look at the most successful men in history. Were they soft? Were they lazy? Were they sitting around waiting for motivation? No. They were relentless. They were disciplined. They did what needed to be done no matter what. And that is what you need to become. You need to become a machine, a force of nature, a man so locked in, so unshakable, so mentally unbreakable that nothing can stop you. Not pain, not failure, not setbacks, nothing. You need to train your mind the way a warrior trains for battle. That means no more distractions. No more nonsense. No more excuses. That means cutting out weak, negative people. That means stopping the addiction to comfort. That means waking up every single day with a purpose, with a mission, and attacking it with everything you have. Because let me tell you something. Life doesn't reward the weak. It doesn't reward the lazy. It doesn't reward the men who hesitate, who complain, who sit around waiting for something to happen. Life rewards the strong. Life rewards the disciplined. Life rewards the men who show up and do the work. Your mind is the battlefield. That's where success is won or lost. Not in your job, not in the gym, not in the world, right here inside your own head. Before you take a single step, before you lift a single weight, before you even open your mouth, your thoughts determine everything. You think like a loser, you act like a loser, you think like a king, you act like a king. It's that simple. And yet most of you sabotage yourselves before you even start. You wake up and the first thing you do is grab your phone, scroll, filling your head with garbage, negativity, distractions, useless opinions from people who have never done anything with their lives. And you wonder why you have no drive. You wonder why you have no focus. You wonder why you're stuck in the same cycle of failure, because you have allowed your mind to become weak. Your mind is supposed to be a weapon, a finely tuned machine, a fortress that nothing can break, but you've let it turn into a playground for weakness, laziness, and distractions. And if you don't take control, if you don't sharpen your mind and harden your soul, you will never break free from the mediocrity that traps you. You know what I do the moment I wake up? I dominate my thoughts. I control my focus. Before the world has a chance to put nonsense in my head, I program myself for war. Because that's what life is, a constant battle against weakness, against distractions, against the pathetic version of yourself that wants to quit. The problem with most of you is that you let that weak version win every single day. You let your mind tell you, stay in bed a little longer, skip the gym today, take a break, and you listen, you obey. You let your mind dictate your actions instead of commanding it like a master. That is why you fail. Your mind is not your friend, it is a tool that must be trained, disciplined, and controlled. Because if you don't control it, it will control you. And that version of you, the one that's soft, weak, and addicted to comfort, will destroy your future before you even have a chance to build it. Look at the most powerful men in history. Do you think they sat around waiting for the right mood to take action? Do you think they let distractions pull them away from their mission? No. They were focused. They were disciplined. They trained their minds to be unbreakable, and that is why they won. You need to do the same. You need to build mental resilience like a soldier going into battle. Every time a weak thought enters your head, you crush it. Every time you feel like quitting, you push harder. Every time life tests you, you stand up and prove that you are a man who cannot be broken. Because once you control your mind, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Not pain, not fear, not failure. You will become a machine, a force of nature, a man who does not hesitate, does not complain, does not stop until he has conquered everything you set out to achieve. That is what it means to master your mind. That is what separates the winners from the losers. So the question is, are you going to stay weak? Or are you going to take control? Because if you don't, life will. And trust me, you won't like how that feels. Your mind is the single most powerful asset you own. It is your strongest weapon, your greatest ally, or your worst enemy. And yet most of you treat it like garbage. You let negativity seep into it. You let weak thoughts dictate your actions. You let distractions steal your focus. And then you wonder why you're losing. Let me tell you something. Your life right now is the direct result of the way you think. If your mind is weak, your life will be weak. If your mind is scattered, your life will be chaotic. If your mind is disciplined, your life will be powerful. Everything starts in your head. Every victory, every failure, every breakthrough, every setback, it all begins with the way you think. The problem with most of you is that you have no control over your own mind. You wake up and instantly fall into the same pattern of distraction, doubt, and weakness. The first thing you do, check your phone. Drown yourself in social media. Flood your brain with nonsense that does nothing to help you grow. And you do this every single day. You let the world shape your thoughts instead of shaping them yourself. And that is why you feel lost. That is why you feel powerless. Because you have surrendered control. The men who win, who really win, do not allow their minds to be hijacked. They program themselves for success. From the moment they wake up, their thoughts are locked in. They are focused. They are ruthless in guarding their mental space. No useless content, no distractions, no self-doubt, just a clear, unshakable vision of what they want and the discipline to go out and take it. I get messages all the time. Tate, how do I fix my mindset? Tate, how do I get discipline? Tate, how do I stop being weak? And my answer is always the same. Stop allowing weakness into your mind. Stop feeding your brain with garbage. Stop indulging in negative thoughts. Stop surrounding yourself with people who bring you down. Stop wasting your mental energy on things that don't make you stronger. Your thoughts must be trained. Every time a weak thought enters your mind, crush it. Every time self-doubt tries to creep in, eliminate it. Every time you catch yourself making excuses, shut it down immediately. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it becomes weak and useless. But if you push it, if you discipline it, if you sharpen it, it becomes a force that no failure, no setback, no amount of negativity can break. And let me be clear, this is not something you do once and forget about. This is war. Every single day, your mind will try to pull you back into old habits, old fears, old weaknesses. You have to fight every moment, every second, until controlling your thoughts becomes second nature, until discipline is automatic, until you become the kind of man who does not hesitate, does not complain, does not stop until he gets what he wants. The difference between men who win and men who lose is simple. The winners do not let their emotions dictate their actions. The losers do. The winners do not let distractions pull them away from their mission. The losers do. The winners do not wait for motivation, for inspiration, for the right time. They act. The losers sit around hoping, wishing, dreaming, but never doing. So which one are you? Are you going to keep living like a slave to your own mind, controlled by doubt, by fear, by weakness? Or are you going to take control? Because the moment you do, the moment you stop making excuses, stop allowing distractions, stop letting negativity win, that is the moment your life changes forever. Your mind is the key to everything. Master it or be mastered by it. Choose.
Lazy people do a little work and feel like they should be winning. Winners work as hard as possible and still worry that they're being lazy. This is absolutely and utterly true. Even myself, as hard as I work with my monumental successes and billions of dollars, I sit at home and wonder, should I be doing more? Could I do more? Did I really need to sleep 7 hours? Would I have survived if I slept 6? Of course I would have. I feel permanent guilt for how hard I do not work, even though I outwork all of you. And you losers who pale in comparison to me in basically every metric that we have the science to measure, manage to do a little bit of work one day and then think you deserve time off. I deserve time off at the end of the year. I've had a hard year.
Thinking about it, Andrew, I'm just analyzing our year. Have we had a single day off this year? 1,000 push-ups a day, push-ups, squats. Have we taken a single day off? Name one day where you haven't done any work in any realm this year. 0. I haven't had a single day off this entire year. Not one. There hasn't been a single day where I have worked 0 on the business, worked 0 on my body and my physicality, my strength, worked 0 on my fucking mind, worked 0 on anything. Just chill. Let's chill. Let's have a chill day. We've had 0 chill days this year.
0.
How do you deal with procrastination?
Why are you asking me that question? Why are you on this podcast asking me how to stop procrastinating? Turn off YouTube. Go do something. What's wrong with people? This is exactly what you were talking about asking a question where you already know the answer to. You know the answer is to stop doing things that waste your time and apply yourself to something important. Now, this may not be a waste of your time, but let me tell you, you're a dumbass, clearly. It's like Googling how to get fit, like you just said. Everyone knows what a push-up is. Do 10,000 of them a day. Stop wasting your time. You know, I've never had to deal with procrastination. I've never had to deal with not being motivated because what is the alternative? Literally, be a loser forever. I am sick of reading shit on the internet saying, yeah, you know, some people are special and they take longer to bloom and your time will come. Let me tell you something. 99.9% of people who are born broke, live broke, stay broke, die broke. That is the reality for almost everybody. You already know the answer. You don't need me to tell you.
I can't stop myself working as a person who doesn't need money. And then there's people with no money who don't work. It blows my mind, which is why the winners are winners and the losers are losers. And it's almost like you can't save these people. I have something I sent in my email recently. I said, you could give the average man a brand new Ferrari and a road map, and a coffee, and a full tank of gas, and tell him the destination, success. And halfway along the drive, he'll quit because it's too far. No matter how well you set it up for people, they'll quit. People will sit there and go, and then put on Netflix. What more? I'm giving you a Ferrari, a full tank of gas, I'm giving you the latte, I'm giving you a road map. I'm giving you a hot girl to sit next to you and play songs and do selfies. I'm giving you everything. Just drive the car. No, yeah, it's far. I don't have motivation. Do. You're a loser. You are a loser. If you do not win, you lose. What do you call someone who loses? A loser. That is an underused word. Loser. My brother and I use it all the time. This person thinks this. He's a loser. What do you mean he's a loser? Look at him. He's a loser. He lost. Name a competition. I beat him at anything. Uno, marbles, a fight to the death. You name it. I'll decimate this loser.
First things first, the biggest mistake most of you are making. You should be hungry all of the time. You are an animal. Do not forget that you exist in two realms simultaneously as an individual. You exist with your evolutionary biological makeup as an animal and also the societal version which has been constructed. They're different things. But as an animal, your body is designed to perform at best while you are hungry because you're supposed to be hunting for food. If you're full of food, you're going to be lazy and lethargic. You should always be a little bit hungry. Even after I directly finish a meal, I'm a little bit hungry because I don't eat enough that would be full. So the first thing is always stay a little bit hungry. Second thing is coffee. Caffeine is a miracle drug. I am heavily caffeinated at all times, 15 to 20 coffees a day. I've also done a lot of research into coffee, a lot of research and understanding. I've also tried to quit coffee to see if there's actually any genuine benefit or improvement to my life. There is nothing wrong with coffee. It can never hurt you. Coffee, a bunch of it. Less food, more coffee. I do not take protein powders. I do not take creatine. I do not take steroids. I do not take TRT, nothing. Lots of coffee, lots of meat. When I do eat, I eat once a day. If you stay a little bit hungry, eat a meat-heavy diet, lots of coffee, you will begin to work faster. I absolutely guarantee it. Do those things. Do those exact things. Stay hungry, drink coffee. Tell us the truth if you genuinely feel better, because I guarantee you do. Guarantee.
It's actually an amazing point because you and I, not many people know this about us, we have a problem with napping.
Yeah.
We're anti-nap.
That's the one thing we'll bully each other for.
If anyone catches the other one having a nap, they get bullied. I'm tired like a baby, and no one would have my nap because I'm tired like a baby, and babies are tired, and my eyes are tired. I would have me like a baby. This is the thing. Naps are so important because people are always napping, and they're like, sleep's really important for your cognitive and your muscles. If that's so true, how come you sleep more than me? I sleep 4 hours a day. I'm built like a tank. I beat the shit out of you, and I'm smarter than all of you, and I'm richer than all of you. Why are you sleeping so much if it hasn't helped you at all?
Yeah.
Clearly, you're just lazy. And you think, oh, just have a nap. How do you even sleep? I can't even sleep. I've got too many things in my mind, too many problems to solve. You're sitting there sleeping away like a loser. And you should bully all your friends for napping. Because you know who takes naps? Babies. Babies love naps. So next time you see your friend napping, say, oh, I know someone else who takes a nap. It's a baby. It's 1 year old. I know this 1-year-old who loves naps. Oh, did you have a nice nap?
And when I say try your best, because we're not robots, that means also do your best at relaxing and resting. If you're gonna work. If you're gonna chill, then chill. You don't wanna be a dim light that's half on. You wanna do one or the other. Now, I find chilling and relaxing, I guess this is my personality, it makes it easy, extremely stressful. Then there's nothing more stressful for me than trying to not do my work. Because if I'm not doing my work, then I'm thinking about the work I'm supposed to do, and I'm more stressed than doing the work. So everyone goes, Andrew, you need to just chill. I'm like, that sounds terrible. That sounds like the most stressful situation to be in. So all I want to do is work. But if you're gonna do something, you should be doing your absolute best at it. What's the point in doing anything if you're not gonna do your best at it? And it's amazing how things can translate. If you do your best in one thing, it's not only the fact that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, but if you do your best in one thing, it can radiate out across your entire life. That's the greatest thing about being a man. As a man, when you upgrade your life and you become a better man, by extension, you automatically improve the lives of all of your friends, of your woman, of your children, of your community, of your country. We radiate. It's amazing. But putting in that extra effort pays off, dividends. And you can look at it spiritually. You can be philosophical about it and say that God rewards people who try hard. That's how I like to see it. God is literally looking at all of us. No matter which God you believe in, and he's saying, all these people I've created, who's thankful? Because any one of us could have lost our eyesight to bacteria at age 2. Any one of us. We didn't. So saying, who's thankful enough for what they have that they're trying their absolute best with it all of the time? If you do that, he's like, I like this guy. I like him. He's cool. Give him blessings. Give him something. It's amazing what comes your way. If someone were to say to me, Andrew, if you make an extra $1, or if you throw an extra punch, endless blessings will come your way, it would be disingenuous of me to sit and say I couldn't do it. So I want you to actually think about what you've done your complete best at. And then I want you to try and apply the analogy of focused, because I focused my power into one knuckle and did more damage than any of you could ever do.
It's actually interesting because I think humans, or maybe this is just me coping, maybe this is cope, but I think we're designed to struggle a bit. Because the closer you are to struggle, the more sensible you are. Also, if you meet somebody who's had a hard life, they seem to be pretty wise.
Yes.
It's difficult to find someone who's had a hard life who's a total idiot. When you speak to these morons, they've had very easy, soft lives. So I think humans are supposed to struggle a bit. I know it's overused, but hard times create good men create good times, and the good times create a bunch of weaklings, and they mess everything up. These people have had too easy lives for too long, and none of them know any struggle at all. I mean, I don't know about you. I can almost crash my car 10 times. And I only slow down when I hit the tree. This is how I am. Like, I think that inside of the human psyche, sometimes you need to be shocked. You need to be hammered with something. That's just how it goes. Because until then, you're like, maybe I'll keep it in mind. But there's a lot of these people out there who aren't being taught any lessons at all because they have never had any kind of difficulty in their life. And what is life without difficulty in the first place?
But I think life is actually pretty simple. There's action and reaction. There's cause and effect. Mm-hmm. There's brave people and there's cowards. A lot of people are self-interested. And if you understand the basis of these motivations, it's not difficult to work out why the world functions the way it does. And cause and effect and action and reaction are very real. And I think one of the largest plagues we have in the world today is a lack of action amongst people. And deciding not to act is an action in and of itself, right? And that's the only philosophy you need for life. If you want something to move, you have to move it. If you sit and wait for somebody else to move it, you're a coward. Yeah. You're just hoping it's going to happen. And that's why I don't understand when a lot of people who see where the world is going and see the future that's going to be laid out for their children kind of just hope and pray when they really need to be taking a more active role, even if it's as simple as discussing every subject with anyone who will listen.
There's nothing more expensive than not working, trying to have fun, enjoy your life. Because then you spend money. But if you work, it's free. In fact, you get paid. It's even better. I probably spend 90% of my waking hours work. And then I'll go out and race a car around, because it's the only thing I enjoy to do. I'll train, I'll beat anyone up who's ready to fight, and then I'll go back to work. All I do is work. Endless. Never ends. There's always something to be done. Isn't there?